Fat Dan had always been known for his sense of humor, but his practical jokes and online trolling had finally landed him in jail. He had pushed things too far, and had caused serious harm to those he had targeted with his online antics. At first, Fat Dan was defiant, insisting that he had done nothing wrong and that the authorities had overreacted. But as the days turned into weeks, he began to feel the weight of his actions. He realized that he had hurt people, and that his jokes had crossed the line into cruelty. In jail, Fat Dan had plenty of time to reflect on his choices. He started to think about his life and the people he had hurt. He wrote letters to those he had wronged, apologizing for his behavior and asking for forgiveness. He also started to read books and educate himself on the impact of online trolling and the importance of kindness. Over time, Fat Dan's attitude began to change. He started to see the world in a new way, one that valued empathy and understanding over jokes and pranks. He began to make amends for his past behavior, volunteering in the jail's library and helping other inmates with their studies. When Fat Dan was finally released from jail, he was a changed man. He had a newfound appreciation for the value of kindness and compassion, and he worked hard to make amends for his past mistakes. He started a new life, away from the internet and the temptations of trolling. And though he knew he could never fully make up for his past actions, he was determined to do his best to be a force for good in the world. Once upon a time, in the heart of England, there was a notorious prison known as HMP Bedford. It was infamous for being one of the toughest jails in the country, housing some of the most dangerous criminals in the land. It was here that two of the most notorious inmates in the prison's history resided, Fat Dan and Jotty John. Fat Dan was a large, overweight man with a penchant for telling tall tales. He was a seasoned criminal with a rap sheet as long as his arm. Jotty John, on the other hand, was a mysterious figure who had been convicted of terrorism charges. He was quiet and kept to himself, never revealing much about his past. Despite their different personalities, Fat Dan and Jotty John had formed an unlikely friendship in the prison. They shared a love for animals, and had even managed to breed a new hybrid species of animal, the commando dragon dog. They had managed to keep their pet, Spike, hidden from the prison guards, raising him in secret in their cramped cell. The three of them had become inseparable, spending every moment together, even during the long, cold nights. But their peace was not to last. For one day, a new warden arrived at the prison, determined to clean up the jail's reputation. He launched a crackdown on contraband and illegal activities, and it wasn't long before he discovered the existence of the commando dragon dog. The warden was furious and ordered Spike to be taken away, much to the distress of Fat Dan and Jotty John. The pair were outraged at the injustice and vowed to get Spike back no matter what it took. As time went on, the two men devised a plan to escape from HMP Bedford and rescue their beloved pet. With the help of a few other prisoners, they dug a tunnel under the prison walls, working tirelessly for weeks until they finally broke free. The escape was successful, and the three of them were reunited at last. But their freedom was short-lived, for the police soon caught wind of their escape and launched a manhunt to track them down. The trio knew that they couldn't stay on the run forever, and so they decided to turn themselves in. Fat Dan and Jotty John were taken back to HMP Bedford, but this time they were separated and placed in maximum security cells. Spike was taken away from them, and they were forbidden from ever seeing him again. The pair were devastated, but they remained defiant, determined to continue their fight to be reunited with their pet.